What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 8 of Fuel to the Fire. Today we're going to talk about March Madness, as that is now upon us. It's the best time of the year. We've got a lot of NFL stuff to talk about, as that it is the second day of free agency. Just a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce the guys. It's the normal crew here. We got Ryan Stoudt and Michael. I'm going to go down to Michael first. Introduce yourself and promote your show.
My name is Michael Conceicao, commonly known as the Con Man. And I have my own show called Sports Corner with the Con Man, and looking forward to doing it. It comes on tomorrow night, matter of fact. And I'm on Fuel to the Fire.
Ryan?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Again, on Fuel to the Fire. I do my show, Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt. It's every Wednesday afternoon. You can catch that on YouTube Live and Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts as well. And I do a play-by-play once a weekend. I'm going to start doing that again next weekend. And, of course, I'm here with you guys on Fuel to the Fire, getting ready for some March Madness.
Yeah, so real quick, we got some people on. We're doing a contest, okay, with everybody and Fuel to the Fire. So Ryan and Michael and John Mark, he will come on next show and give us his bracket. But what we're doing here is we have the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. They keep your points and all that fun stuff. And basically, we made a group, okay? Ryan, Michael, and John Mark, we're all in it, and myself. And we're going to see who has the best bracket. Now, the 3 people who have bad brackets, there might be worse punishments come up, but they will have to wear something completely outrageous on the stream. And whenever Ryan and Michael and John Mark have to wear something outrageous, I want everybody to just bash them for it, because it's going to be hilarious.
I don't know about that, man.
We already know who's going to win.
Wait, that's right. Right over here.
No.
So every one of us are going to read off our brackets that are on this show, and then, like I said, John Mark will do it when he comes next week. So the tournament starts Thursday. We're all super, super excited for it. It's my favorite, and it's more exciting this year because we didn't have it last year, so it's something to look forward to. I'm gonna let Ryan go first because it's probably gonna be outrageous. I'm excited to hear the upsets and whatever he has going on up there in that brain. But I'm gonna go to Ryan first. Give me your NCAA March Madness tournament bracket.
It's all right. I guess we're saving the best for first, right? Winning bracket. It's coming at you right now. All right. So, starting with the round of 64 in the West, Gonzaga is going to take down that 16 seed. I don't think there's any surprise there. They should win that game easily and just move on to the next round. Then we have an 8 versus a 9 seed, which is always a tough matchup to pick, in my opinion. This time we have Oklahoma and Missouri. Oklahoma being the 8 seed, Missouri being the 9 seed. I took Oklahoma in this game. I looked at things like points per game, games that they won, all these different stats, and I just, in my gut, I felt immediately that Oklahoma was going to win this game. I think they're a better all-around team, so I have them beating Missouri, moving on to the round of 32. Creighton and UCSB. I have Creighton winning that game, the 5 seed over the 12 seed. A lot of times in March Madness, you see a bunch of 12 seeds over 5 seeds upsets. The 12 seeds actually win most of those games and have like a good percentage of those games won, but I think Creighton's going to get the win definitely right here. And then we have Virginia and Ohio. Now, this is an interesting game because a lot of people have Ohio picked to beat Virginia, and they say that and Ohio to actually make a deep tournament run. I know Jay Billis actually has Ohio in his Elite 8 or his Sweet 16 for this year, but I think Ohio is going to be a first-round knockout. I think Virginia has one of the best defenses going into the tournament, and if there's any team that could be a shocker at a 4 seed and make a big tournament run, it could be Virginia. So I have Virginia beating Ohio, the 13 seed. And then I have USC over either Wichita or Drake. I think USC is another good team at a 6 seed that could be sort of a shocker, a sleeper in this tournament. If you guys are looking for a sleeper team to sort of make a big run, you're going to look at USC. Kansas and Eastern Washington, I believe that is. Kansas a 3 seed, Eastern Washington a 14 seed. Kansas is going to win this game at the 3 seed. They had another strong year. I feel like Kansas is always in the conversation when we go for an NCAA tournament. Oregon and VCU. I had a tough one with this game. I had to come back to it numerous times, and I just kept thinking on it. And I took Oregon at the 7th spot over number 10 VCU. It was a tough pick. There were a lot of tough picks this year for me. that being one of them. Iowa and Grand Canyon. I think Iowa has one of the strongest teams going to this NCAA tournament this year, especially with a guy like Luke Garza, who's going to be a beast in the NBA, and he's already a beast in college. So Iowa is going to move on and beat the number 15 seed Grand Canyon. Moving on to the East, we have the number 1 seed Michigan. I picked them over the 16 seed. I don't. Sometimes these abbreviations, I don't know who they are. This is another play-in game. But the thing about Michigan that's interesting, and I'll talk about this right now, and as my picks go on, I'll talk about this. The fact that Isaiah Livers is out for Michigan is absolutely huge, because this is one of the things that made me change my bracket yesterday. I finished my bracket Monday night and I changed it again. I made it Sunday night and I changed my bracket Monday to the final one that I have now. But I have Michigan moving past the 16 seed, moving to the round of 32. LSU and St. Bonaventure. This is one that I had no doubt in my mind that LSU was going to win. I watched them in that SEC tournament against your Crimson Tide, Landon, and I think St. Bonaventure is a good team. They're not good enough to beat LSU. I'm glad that St. Bonaventure actually got in the tournament. I believe this is their first year in the tournament in a long time, but LSU is going to get the win as an 8 seed. And then we have number 5 Colorado and number 12 Georgetown. Georgetown just won the Big East, and this is a 12-5 upset for me. This is the first upset that I have. Georgetown is going to beat Colorado. They got that coach in Patrick Ewing, who's played for Georgetown. He played in New York for the New York Knicks. He is practically, he is a celebrity in New York. When you think of New York, you put Patrick Ewing into that conversation, and now he's the coach of Georgetown, winning the Big East this year. And I think they're going to make it past that first round and beat a team like Colorado. That's your first upset. Florida State and UNC Greensboro. Florida State should roll past number 13 seed UNC Greensboro to face Georgetown in the round of 32 as a 4 seed. And Florida State is a strong team this year in the NCAA tournament as well. They're another team that has sort of made a comeback year, and they've really been on the upswing and proven what they can do this year. BYU versus an 11 seed on a play-in game, either Michigan State University or UCLA. A lot of people have the play-in game for a win here with Michigan State and UCLA, and that is a very interesting playoff game because these are two teams that you never, ever see in a play-in game in Michigan State and UCLA. However, I do have BYU winning this game, whoever the play-in game is, at a 6th spot over the 11 seed. Texas and Abil Christian. Texas should move on. They have a great coach, and they have a great all-around team going into the tournament this year. And they are another team that has made sort of an upswing. And there's a lot of teams that you've seen that way, Landon and Michael, without Duke and Kentucky. You're seeing a lot of more schools get an opportunity that may have not gotten an opportunity before. Mm-hmm. And Texas, I believe, is going to move on in this game against Abil Christian in the round of 64. UConn and Maryland. This is going to be a game to watch in the round of 64. You want some high, intense basketball, some high-energy basketball. You're going to want to watch UConn and Maryland. I believe UConn, the number 7 seed, is going to get the win over Maryland in this game and move on to face the winner of Alabama and Iona. Alabama has proved that they are not just a football school this year. I know Landon likes that.
We're a championship school. Championship school, baby.
And Alabama
We're not a basketball school, football school, a championship school. Remember that.
Alabama is going to beat number 15 seed Iona to move on to the next round and face UConn. In the South, we have Baylor, a favorite to cut down the nets this year. And I believe they're going to beat Hartford, the number 16 seed, and move on. The last time we saw a 16 seed beat a 1 seed was when I believe it was Virginia that lost. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that lost to Loyola Chicago. And that was a big, big shocker. That was the first time we've seen that in years. I don't think it's going to happen this year, and Baylor is going to beat Hartford in that 16 spot. Then we have North Carolina and Wisconsin. This is a pick'em game. This is a gimme. Because this could absolutely go either way. Wisconsin at North Carolina, Wisconsin being the 9 seed, North Carolina being at the 8 seed. I have Wisconsin winning this game. North Carolina sort of regressed this year, along with Duke and Kentucky. Rolling down the stretch, we didn't know if North Carolina was even going to be in the NCAA tournament this year. And Wisconsin, I feel, is the better team. They're going to get the win over North Carolina. Villanova and Winthrop. Villanova has struggled down the stretch. Winthrop is also a favorite to win this game in some people's eyes as an upset. I took Villanova. I think they can get past at least one round in this NCAA tournament. They've won 2 out of the last 4 NCAA championships, and I think they're going to win this game against Winthrop. Purdue and North Texas. Purdue being a 4 seed, North Texas being a 13 seed. I have Purdue rolling past North Texas in an easy win to face Villanova in the round of 32. Texas Tech and Utah State. This is going to be an interesting matchup as well. Oh, we did lose Landon, so hopefully he can get back.
Okay.
I'll just keep going with my picks. Texas Tech and Utah State. Texas Tech being a 6 seed, Utah State being an 11 seed. Another game that could go either way, in my opinion. A game that you could see an upset in. I do have Texas Tech beating Utah State, moving on to the next round. And then we have Arkansas and Colgate. Arkansas having just a phenomenal year on the defensive end, and their coaching has been amazing this year as well. So Arkansas is going to roll past Colgate to face Texas Tech in the round of 32. Florida and Virginia Tech. This is my second upset that I have this round. Florida being the 7 seed, Virginia Tech being the 10 seed. I have Virginia Tech beating Florida State. I'm sorry, Florida, not Florida State. And it's just, some of these games are just absolute gimmies. With the seeding, you see some teams that are seeded higher than others, and this is another one that's a jump ball. I took Virginia Tech looking at the stats. Again, points per game. Who did they beat this year? Their record within the conference. A lot of that stuff goes into who's going to win this game, and I think Virginia Tech is going to pull out the upset and beat number 7 seed Florida in the round of 64. Then we have Oral Roberts and number 2 seed Ohio State, another team that Ohio State is sort of seen as like a football school, but now they're proving that they can play some basketball too. The last time they were in the Final Four was, I believe, in 2012 or 2013, and I think Ohio State's going to beat Oral Roberts at number 15 this year, and they're going to move on to the round of 32 to face Virginia Tech. Moving on to the Midwest, Illinois and Drexel. Illinois is a lot of people's favorites to go to the finals this year. I've seen it all over, and I don't understand what the hype is around Illinois. Doing my research, Illinois is probably, in my opinion, the weakest of the number 1 seeds that we've seen, especially if Isaiah Livers is going to be playing for Michigan. I feel like Illinois is the weakest out of every single 1 seed in this tournament. And sometimes that can be very, very good for a team. That can sort of boost their confidence. But I don't know about that this year. I do, however, have them rolling over Drexel, the number 16 seed. Illinois moves on to the next round. Loyola Chicago. We saw that Cinderella story a couple years back. I just talked about that. They beat Virginia in the first round, moving all the way to the Elite Eight, I believe it was. And they are playing Georgia Tech, the number 9 seed. I have Georgia Tech winning this game over Loyola Chicago in a jump ball. I think Loyola Chicago is good. I don't think they're good enough yet, and I think Georgia Tech is going to win this game. Tennessee and Oregon State. This is another big 12-5 matchup that you could see an upset in. I did, however, take Tennessee in this game over Oregon State, although Oregon State may be a team to watch if you guys are filling out your brackets tonight before the tournament starts tomorrow. Oregon State is a big team to watch. Then we have Oklahoma State, number 4 seed, over number 13 seed Liberty. This should go without saying that Oklahoma State has the number 1 pick in the draft, in my opinion. They have, if I can remember what his name is, maybe they'll have it here.
Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham. Thank you, Michael. They, in my opinion, at least a top 5 pick in this year's NBA draft. He's amazing, and he's going to carry them to the next round, beating Liberty in the round of 64. San Diego State and Syracuse. Syracuse is another team that we often see in the NCAA tournament. They are seeded at 11 this year, and San Diego State is seeded at the number 6 spot. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a text from Landon. All right, Landon wants me to take over for a minute. He should be getting back on soon. So, number 6 seed, San Diego State is going to beat number 11 seed Syracuse and move on to the round of 32. West Virginia and Morehead State. West Virginia proving to be one of the best teams in this tournament, in my opinion. A sleeper team, if there ever was one. They're going to roll past Morehead State to the round of 32, in my opinion. Clemson and Rutgers, another upset game for me. I have Rutgers beating Clemson, moving on to the next round. They are a team to be reckoned with, and a lot of people have Rutgers maybe going deep into this tournament, and I have Rutgers beating the number 7 seed Clemson. And to finish out the round of 64, I have the number 2 seed Houston beating the number 15 seed Cleveland State. Moving on to the round of 32, back up to the top of the bracket, we would have Gonzaga playing Oklahoma, Again, I have Gonzaga winning this game, an undefeated team this year, averaging 92 points per game. That is a great feat in the college basketball world. I have them beating Oklahoma in the round of 32, moving on to the Sweet 16. Creighton and Virginia. This is going to be a fun game to watch, in my opinion. Virginia, again, has one of the best defenses in this tournament. I cannot stress that enough. You can talk about all the 1 seeds you want. Looking at defense, Virginia is possibly has the best defense out of any college team this year when you look at it stats-wise. And I think Virginia is going to be able to beat Creighton with that defense, and they need to control the pace of the game because Creighton is a team that could beat Virginia, but I think Virginia's defense is going to hold up in that round of 32, and they're going to beat Creighton this year. You went USC and Kansas. Now, this is another upset game that a lot of people have. I have Kansas beating USC. A lot of people have USC taking a deep tournament run, but I think just Kansas is way too experienced in these games. I think once USC gets a little more experience under their belt, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. But for now, this year, I have Kansas beating USC, the number 6 seed. Oregon and Iowa. Oregon, number 7 seed. Iowa is a number 2 seed. Listen, if Oregon was playing any other team than Iowa, I would have given them a shot, unless it was a 1 seed, of course. But Iowa is just too good this year. Luke Garza, again, is going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA. He is a force to be reckoned with. They are going to beat the number 7 seed Oregon in the round of 32. Moving on to the East, Michigan and LSU. Now, if you guys don't have Michigan, or if you guys have Michigan moving on, this is a tight one, in my opinion, Michigan and LSU. We saw what LSU could do in the SEC tournament against your Alabama Crimson Tide, Landon, where they brought it within 1, and I think Alabama's a great team this year. So, especially without having Isaiah Livers, this could be an 8-1 matchup that you see. However, I did take Michigan to move on to the Sweet 16. Even without Isaiah Livers, I think they'll be all right for a few rounds. Number 12, Georgetown, and number 4, Florida State. I had Georgetown winning that first game. I do not have them winning that second game. I have Florida State winning that game. Georgetown is going to get past that first round. It'll be good for them, and I think that their streak is going to end at Florida State, and I think Florida State's going to move on to play Michigan in the Sweet 16. BYU and Texas, again, Texas with that great coach. Number 3, Texas is going to beat number 6, BYU, to move on to the Sweet 16. UConn and your Alabama Crimson Tide, Landon. I think Alabama just rolls onto the Sweet 16 through this game as well. Alabama is a very experienced team. They have players of the year in defense, offense, you name it. Alabama has it this year. They have a great coach, great defense, great offense, just an all-around great team. Alabama's going to roll past UConn. Moving on to the South, I figured you would. Baylor and Wisconsin. The number 9 seed Wisconsin is going to lose to Baylor. Again, Baylor's a favorite to cut down the nets this year. They are a good team, great 3-point percentage. They were hanging in there with Gonzaga until they lost 2 of their games, I believe, this season. Villanova and Purdue. Villanova struggled down the stretch, and that scared me. So I only see Villanova getting past 1 round in this NCAA tournament. I have Purdue beating Villanova in the second round of this tournament. And you know what, Landon? If they wouldn't have struggled so much down the stretch, I would have had Villanova going way further. But Villanova just looks like a team that's lost right now. I had trouble picking them to beat Winthrop in the first round. So I only think they're going to get past the first round, and they're going to lose to Purdue in the second round. Texas Tech and Arkansas. Again, Arkansas is one of those great defensive teams, just like Virginia that you see this year. And I think it's going to be enough to get past Texas Tech and move on to the Sweet 16. Arkansas over Texas Tech, in my opinion. Then we have number 10, Virginia Tech, and number 2, Ohio State. Again, Ohio State this year has been playing some great basketball. They're going to beat Virginia Tech at the number 2 spot and move on to play Arkansas in a Sweet 16 matchup for the ages, in my opinion. That's going to be one of the games of the tournament. Midwest, we have Illinois over Georgia Tech. Illinois, again, they're a 1 seed. They're a good team. Again, like I said, Landon, I don't know if you were here when I said it to Michael or if you heard me. I said that Illinois, in my opinion, is the weakest out of all the 1 seeds, especially if Michigan gets Isaiah Livers. Wow. Illinois, in my opinion, is the weakest out of all the 1 seeds going into this tournament. They're going to beat Georgia Tech and move on to the Sweet 16, though, in my opinion. Oklahoma State over number 5 Tennessee. Again, Cade Cunningham. As long as he's on the floor, Oklahoma State's got a shot. And I think Oklahoma State is going to beat that number 5 spot Tennessee. Tennessee is just not going to be enough to beat Oklahoma State. San Diego State and West Virginia. Again, West Virginia being a sleeper team in my opinion this year. They're going to beat San Diego State, moving on to the Sweet 16. And Rutgers and Houston. Houston at the number 2 spot, in my opinion, is going to beat Rutgers. That is my round of 32. Moving on to the Sweet 16 and back again to the top of the bracket, Gonzaga and Virginia. If you want to watch a game that's going to define this NCAA tournament, it's going to be Gonzaga and Virginia. It's going to be a dog fight because Virginia, I said it last round and I'll say it again. Virginia has the best defense out of any college team this year. You can talk about any other stat you want. Virginia owns the defensive stats this year in the NCAA tournament. But I do have Gonzaga beating Virginia in a very, very close game. Moving on to the Elite Eight would be Gonzaga. Kansas and Iowa. Now, this is where Kansas' run ends. I know I talked about their experience, but Iowa and Luke Garza, they're gonna win that game. It may be close. The Elite Eight's gonna have a lot of close games, but I think Iowa's gonna move on, and we're gonna see another great matchup in the Elite Eight in Gonzaga and Iowa, in my opinion. Michigan and Florida State. This is a game where I almost picked Florida State to win because I kept saying to myself, how far do I want to push Michigan State, Michigan, if they're not going to have Isaiah Livers? How far am I willing to put them into the next round? I did it again here. I put my faith in them. I put them in the Elite Eight to beat Florida State in a very, very tight game again, especially if they don't have Isaiah Livers. That one might come back to haunt me, guys, with that pick.
Wait, what? Did you say Florida State beating Michigan? Or did you say
No,
Michigan?
I had Michigan beating Florida State. But I said that one might come back to haunt me, especially if Michigan doesn't have Isaiah Livers, because I kept saying, how much more do I want to push Michigan into the next round? Texas and Alabama. This is going to be Alabama's toughest test to that point in the tournament. And Alabama is going to prevail. They're going to move on to the Elite Eight. Landon, I know you're sitting on the edge of your chair with me and the Crimson Tide right now.
Well, I don't need you to pick Alabama, because I know your bracket's gonna be so off. It doesn't matter to me if you pick Alabama or not. So
that was good. Hey, we'll see. I think my bracket's pretty good. Anyway, I have Alabama beating Texas, moving on to the Elite Eight. Baylor and Purdue. Purdue would make it that far, but they are not going to get past Baylor. Baylor's a great team. Again, if it wasn't for those 2 losses, they would be favored over Gonzaga, in my opinion.
yeah,
Arkansas and Ohio State. This was a tough one. Originally, on Sunday night, I did pick Arkansas. And then I went back, I looked at the stats, I read up on both teams, and Ohio State is a lot of people's picks to go to that Final Four. I think they're going to beat Arkansas. And in a very, very close game again. Illinois and Oklahoma State. I'm going to take Illinois to the Elite Eight again over Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State. They're going to have a good run, but Illinois at the 1 spot is just going to beat them and move to the Elite Eight. West Virginia and Houston. Houston was a team I had going to the Final Four originally on Sunday night, and then I went back to my Sweet 16 and took West Virginia over Houston, again, doing a little more research there. And I have West Virginia moving on to my Elite Eight. But again, guys, if you want to watch a good game in that Sweet 16, if I'm correct, Virginia and Gonzaga. That is going to be a brawl. Moving on to the Elite Eight. I'm almost done with my bracket, and then I get to listen to your guys' losing brackets, and I can just have fun listening to those. Gonzaga and Iowa in the Elite Eight. That's going to be a tough match. Again, Luke Garza versus Gonzaga, the undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs. I think Gonzaga is going to get the win and move on to the Final Four, though. And they're going to beat Iowa. Luke Garza and Iowa are a very good team, but they're not going to be enough to stop undefeated Gonzaga. And Gonzaga is going to move to the Final Four. Michigan and Alabama. Isaiah Livers is most likely going to be out for Michigan. Landon, the Crimson Tide are going to the Final Four, in my opinion, to play the Gonzaga Bulldogs to go to the national championship. In the South, Baylor and Ohio State. This is going to be another marquee matchup for you guys to watch in the Final Four. Baylor and Ohio State, that's going to be a classic matchup. It's going to be very, very fun to watch. I have Baylor moving on over Ohio State. Again, I would say that if Gonzaga wasn't undefeated, Baylor would be the favorite. And if Baylor didn't have those 2 losses, Baylor would be the favorite. And then Illinois and West Virginia. I have Illinois beating West Virginia. West Virginia, again, a great team, but Illinois, that 1 spot, they're good. But I think they're the weakest out of all the 1 seeds. Moving on to the Final Four. Gonzaga and Alabama. Landon, I know you're going to have your eyes on this game if this happens, but I think Gonzaga is going to beat Alabama. I think this is where Alabama's run ends. They're an undefeated team. Alabama is not as experienced as Gonzaga in these situations. I think that's going to come back to haunt them, and I think Gonzaga is going to move to the championship round to play in the national championship. And the South versus the Midwest. Baylor versus Illinois. I said it just now. Illinois is the weakest out of all these 1 seeds. I'm surprised they even took them to the Final Four, but I think they have a somewhat easy route to the Final Four. I took Baylor in this game to make our championship, or my championship, the winning brackets championship, I should say. Gonzaga and Baylor, the 2 1 seeds going at it, and I gave you a final score. Gonzaga 86, Baylor 80. Gonzaga completes the undefeated season for the first time since the 1970s, I believe, when Indiana did that. And what a feat that would be for Gonzaga to beat Baylor in the national championship. That is my completed NCAA March Madness bracket. That's the winning bracket. So you guys can go ahead and talk about your brackets, and that'll be entertainment to me.
All right, Michael. You heard Ryan, and he thinks that, I think me and you are going to be the 1 and 2, but obviously you're going to have to do the punishment as well. And obviously I'm going to be number 1, but
that's all right. I like being the underdog. That's all right. I thrive.
The reason
on
you're the underdog is because you think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Michael, I'm going to go to you now to give me your bracket. Start with a round of 64, go down to the national championship, and I really want to hear what you got for your bracket.
All right, I'm going to be real quick. I mean, Ryan, that was really eloquent. I mean, you said a lot of great things. The way you came out.
Took 20 minutes.
Very professional. But anyway, let me tell you something. You look at stats a little too much. And I'm going to show you
exactly.
why. All right, here we go. You remember, all it takes is 1 bad game. But anyway, here we go.
That's true.
Gonzaga, Norfolk State. We all know about that one. Oklahoma, Missouri. I got Oklahoma. Creighton. That's a no-brainer to me. Creighton's going to sweep by that one right now. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that Virginia-Ohio game can be very tricky. Ohio has a very outstanding point guard who is getting a lot of buzz. They think he might be a lottery pick. But you know something? I'm going with Virginia. I like the way they're coached. They have a lot of experience. Ohio hardly never been there. I don't know if they've ever been there. Matter of fact, it's been a long time. I'm going to go with Virginia. USC having a great year. I'm going USC. I believe they're going to be playing Wichita State, if you ask me. Kansas, that should be a very easy victory. I'm going to break it down very easy. Oregon against BCU. Oregon. Iowa, out of the league. Grand Canyon's out of the league. Michigan, I got Michigan. Livers is it's going to be a factor, but I think they're going to be fine. I got LSU. That should be pretty easy. Now, LSU, St. Bonaventure, LSU. Now, here we go, guys. Here we go. Here's my number 1 shocker right now. Georgetown, I am so proud of Pat Ewing. Those who know him call him P. King. I got the pleasure of playing against Pat Ewing, but you guys already know the story. But anyway, my heart goes with Georgetown, but I'm going to tell you, I think they kind of hit the road when they won the Big East. I think it took a lot out of them. I think that they're not going to be as good as they were in the Big East. I got Colorado. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for that. I know I am.
Well, listen,
I
disagree with you there, but you had a good point with saying the Big East will drain. That did drain them. That was a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
I'm telling you, the expectation, they won something they weren't even supposed to win. They took a lot out of them. I'm telling you right now, that made their day. And I'm telling you right now, Colorado. Ryan, change up, put Colorado. Anyway, okay, we're gonna go where we at.
Florida
Um,
State, UNC Greensboro.
Florida State. I got Florida State. Then we go to you know what? I like BYU. I like BYU. I think BYU they don't get a lot of recognition because they don't play on TV a lot, and most of the games are on the West Coast. Don't really get a chance to see them play. But I like the record. They're a 6 seed. They're 26. I like the way they've been playing. I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be all right. Now I'm going to tell you right now what you guys probably don't know with your stats. Michigan State they beat three very great teams this
Mm-hmm.
year towards the end of the year.
They beat
So
three
you got to
one
go with the team
seeds. They
that's
beat
hot.
three one seeds, I believe.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Ryan, listen to that. Anyway,
I did. I heard it.
so this is going to be a very tough game. It's not going to be no blowout, but I did pick Texas. Connecticut, Maryland. I think that UConn has a great guard and Book Knight. Book Knight. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick. UConn's well coached by Hurley, who I thought was going to get going to another job. I thought he might get the BC job. Boston College has a job, well, they had a job. But I'm gonna go with UConn on that one. And Alabama, I'm gonna tell you, Iona is no joke. I'm gonna let you know, Iona is no joke. They have a former NBA player's son. I don't know if you guys know who that is,
Don't
but
tell me you're picking Iona, Michael.
no, 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 no. I'm just no, 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 no. I think if I did that, Atlanta would fire me. No,
Here, Michael, you want to see what I would do if you picked Iona over Alabama?
no, of course I'm going with Alabama. But I'm just letting you know that's going to be a good game to watch. Iona is up and coming. They can't, of course they can't play with Alabama. But
They
I
got a
just
good
wanted to
coach
give,
too. They got you can't forget that.
yeah, I wanted to give some props to Iona. Okay, now we're going to go to we go back to the south now. Or we stay on the west.
You're in the South, Baylor, Hartford.
Okay, Baylor Hartford. Alrighty, next Baylor Hartford.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go North Carolina, Wisconsin. Let me tell you something, what you guys don't know again. Wisconsin, their starting five are all seniors. Their starting five
Exactly.
are older than the Chicago Bulls.
Mm.
Check that out. So anyway, I'm going with Wisconsin. They're well coached, and Wisconsin's always a tough out. They are always tough. I am going with Wisconsin. Uh, this one here, Villanova, uh, they lost their best perimeter shooter in Gillespie. That's who you were talking about them going down. They lost one of the focal points, the perimeter outside shooting. He's a big factor and why they lost. But I still believe that they'll prevail. Winthrop is the up and coming team, but I think Villanova is going to be is well coached. I think they'll go by them, not a problem. And then Purdue, not Texas. I got Purdue. Purdue's 18-9, 4th seed. I got them going pretty easily. Okay. Now we talked about Texas Tech and Utah State. Do you know that there was a guy that played for Georgetown named McGlurk? Great player coming out of high school, went to Georgetown, transferred from Georgetown. He's now playing with Texas Tech. His name is McGlurk. Watch out for an exciting player. But anyway, I think he's happier at Texas Tech. I'm going with Texas Tech. Arkansas, I think Colgate's out of the league. I don't think Colgate. I think Colgate should be a Division II or Division III school. Yeah, yeah, I know. Believe me.
As a 14 seed?
Not, huh?
As a 14 seed, you think they should be a D2, D3 school?
Look, that now you just saw they only played 15 games.
Oh, okay.
They didn't get a chance
That's
to play
true.
who they normally
That's
play.
true. That's a good point.
And look at the conference that they're in. We played against Colgate.
I don't think anybody has them beating Arkansas, anyways.
I know, yeah. So I'll move on. Now, Ryan, I like your analysis of the Florida Virginia Tech game. You were right on point. I'm with you 100%. I went with Virginia Tech. Ohio State, Oral Roberts. I went with Ohio State. Illinois, Drexel. I went with Illinois. Loyola Chicago and Georgia Tech. I went with Loyola Chicago. I'm gonna argue with you on that one later on. That one. Tennessee and Oregon State. I went with Tennessee. Um, Oklahoma State and Liberty. Now I'm telling you, Liberty has a very good up and coming football team. You know how good they were in football. They're also up and coming in basketball as well. But I am going to take, obviously, they got one of the best players in the country, who will not be the number one pick, by the way.
Oh,
I'm going with Oklahoma
wow,
State. Hey,
Michael.
the first two picks are coming from the G League guys.
I don't think we need a hot take from him tonight. I think we just heard it.
I'm telling you, you heard it right here. The two picks in the top 5 will not even be playing in the NCAA. They'll be playing in the G League. Watch my word.
Oh my goodness!
I will
Wow.
put up. All right, but that's a hot take for me. Anybody who uses my thing get a pain. All right, so we're gonna go from there. We're gonna go with San Diego State and Syracuse. Syracuse, of course, they got the great coach. They got the coach's kid who's playing well, but he's not good perimeter shooting. And when you're in the NCAA's, the two things you want to have is perimeter shooting, defense, and they have that, but I don't think they have enough. So I obviously went with San Diego State. I like the 6th seed. I went with San Diego State. West Virginia and Morehead State. West Virginia is well coached. They come to play every day. Their coach is a nut. He drives them crazy, but know something? He brings the best out of everybody, and they come to play every single game. You got to watch out for them. They're the 3rd seed. I got West Virginia. Clemson and Rutgers. Ryan, you're on point on this one again. I have a little bit more to my heart. One of my best friends is Kyle Hobbs. Kyle Hobbs, you guys are too young to remember him, but he played at UConn way back in the day. He ended up coaching at UConn. George Washington. He is now the associate head coach at Rutgers, and plus Rutgers is playing very well. They were not always in that conference that they're in now. They held their own. I thought they played pretty well. I like Rutgers. I took Rutgers. Houston, Cleveland State. I took Houston, and we're going to swing back over here. I got Gonzaga over Oklahoma, Creighton over Virginia, USC over Kansas, Oregon, Iowa. I got Michigan, LSU. I got Gonzaga beating Oklahoma. I got Virginia beating Creighton. I have Kansas. Yeah, give me backtrack here, guys. Sorry about that. I got USC versus Kansas. I got Kansas. Oregon, Iowa. I got Iowa. Michigan, LSU. I got Michigan. Colorado, Georgetown. I got Colorado. BYU, Texas. I got BYU. UConn, Alabama. I got Alabama. Here we go. Then we're going to the South. Baylor over Wisconsin. I got Purdue over Villanova. I got Arkansas over Texas Tech. I got Ohio State over Virginia. I got Illinois over Loyola Chicago. I got Oklahoma State over Tennessee. I got West Virginia over San Diego State. And I got Houston over Rutgers.
Look at that. We got the same Sweet 16, Michael.
No, because you know something? You must have found my paperwork. I'm telling you. Anyway, we got.
Anyway.
I got Gonzaga, Iowa. You know something? Here is where Ryan. I just
you jumped ahead. You jumped ahead.
I jumped ahead. Oh, all right. Excuse me. Where am I? Yeah, Gonzaga, Virginia. I got Gonzaga. Kansas, Iowa. I got Iowa. Michigan State, Colorado. I got Michigan. BYU, Alabama. I got Alabama. Baylor, Purdue. I got Baylor. Arkansas, Ohio State. I got Ohio State. Illinois over Oklahoma State. And I have Houston beating West Virginia. Okay. Now we're going to go back up top. See, Ryan, you made it all eloquent. I'm just going right by.
That's all right.
I know.
That's
I got
all right.
Too.
I need to explain myself. That's all right.
But you're good though. Excellent. Gonzaga, Iowa. I go with Gonzaga. And I disagree with you. I think Gaza is not going to be a good NBA player. He's slow. It takes him a half hour to get up and down the
Yeah,
court.
he's not going
I
to
don't
be
think he has the quickness. I don't think he's going to be that effective. He's going to be slow in the NBA. The NBA are real quick, especially at the 4 and 5. And when they extend the defense, I don't think he's going to be very good. He's going to be
I
all right.
agree. I agree with
I
Mike.
don't think he's going to be like you said he is. You say he's going to be a beast. I don't see it. I've been watching him. I just don't.
Beast
I
in
don't.
college.
I
He's
don't
not
see
going to do anything in the NBA.
it. Okay, let me go. Michigan, Alabama. You know, like I said, Livers big component, big key to Michigan, but I like Alabama in that one. And then we go. I got Baylor over Purdue. I got Ohio. Baylor over Ohio State. Oh, my dementia's kicking in, fellas. I got Ohio State over Baylor. I got Illinois over Houston.
There you go.
And, all right, now I'm getting back again. Now we're going to go right back to it again. We got Gonzaga, Alabama. You know, I had it changed a little bit, but then I was watching my boy Dickie V, and he made some sense to me. Dickie V, I respect his knowledge. I'm gonna go with Gonzaga, and with the Ohio State Illinois. I like to see another thing that's really key and if you look back in a lot of the NCAA championships, a lot of the teams that win, it's by God play.
Yeah.
You go back to Shabazz Napier. You go back to you look back. The key is having good God play, and I'm telling you right now, Illinois has the best God in the country, so you got to watch out for them. So anyway, I got Illinois and Gonzaga in the finals. I originally picked Illinois, I really did, but I think Gonzaga they got damn near 3 All-Americans. They got a great point guard in Suggs. They got a great perimeter shooting, just like I was telling you, and they got a great big man. I think they got all the weapons. I think that Illinois, what's going to happen? Their big man, I think his name's Cochran, the big sophomore. I think he's going to get in foul trouble. I think that's going to hurt them. And if he does stay in the game, he's a terrible foul shooter. So my automatic thing is foul him, try to have him win the game on the foul line, which he can't shoot foul shots at all. So for that reason, I'm going Gonzaga 82-74.
You know something, Michael? You and I both picked Gonzaga, so we better pray to God that Gonzaga wins the championship, or else you and I are going to be dressing up in some outrageous outfits.
Ryan, don't worry about it. Landon ain't got this. We got this. Don't worry about it.
All right, hey, we'll see. Mike, I was on your team, bro. I said Ryan's gonna be dressing up.
Listen,
you are too. But you're gonna be second.
We had Gonzaga and Gonzaga, so that's 2 out of 4 at least right now that have Gonzaga winning. So
Gonzaga's not even in my Final Four.
Wow.
Whoa.
So with that being said,
all right,
I'm
you know what? Then
started.
Lennon, you can start packing your outrageous outfit.
I know.
Buddy. That's all right.
We got to work on what his outfit's going to be.
All right. With that being said,
Lennon, start figuring that out.
With Gonzaga playing either Norfolk State or Appalachia State, I'm going to take Gonzaga in that matchup, obviously. Then we're going to go to Oklahoma, Missouri. I'm going to disagree with both of you here and go Missouri. I think Missouri is a fantastic team. You know, they got big playability. Now, obviously, they can get out to leads and they can blow leads, but if they can keep a lead against Oklahoma, I think they'll be just fine. Then I got Creighton beating UCSB, Virginia beating Ohio. That will be a very good game to watch, though. Do not sleep on Ohio. I would not be surprised one bit if they won that game. USC to beat Wichita or Drake. I got Kansas beating Eastern Washington. I got Oregon beating VCU, and this is another good game to watch because do not sleep on Grand Canyon. I think they will play with Iowa, but I do think Iowa's going to win. And then we're going to go to the East now. I think Michigan's going to beat, I don't even know those teams, but so that literally is why Michigan's going to win.
That's Mount St. Mary's. They're pretty good, you know.
Well, Michigan's pretty good, too.
good comeback.
I like that. I got LSU beating Saint something. Because
St. Bonaventure.
And this is why. That center, I think he's a big. He's
That's
a 4
Adrian.
or 5. He's a 4 or a 5 for LSU. Played fantastic in the SEC championship game. He put up like 32 points, like 8 rebounds, and 5 assists, I believe, something close to that stat line. And he balled out. He carried LSU to almost winning the SEC championship, but they were playing Alabama, so that's why they lost.
You know what, Landon? St. Bonaventure, that's Adrian Wojnarowski's alma mater. So we know who he'll be
There-
rooting for.
There's been
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of people.
sure.
There's been a lot of people say that they could beat LSU, and I mean
St.
they are a
Bonaventure?
9 seed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like analysts, dude. Like that's what.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm also saying when people say Devontae Smith's going to go 15. I got Georgetown beating Colorado. I think Georgetown's the hottest team coming into this. You know, you can say Gonzaga's undefeated, but Georgetown kind of upset the world if they won the Big East. They're like, I compare them to the Bills because you know how hot they were going into the playoffs and they made a little run. So I took Georgetown to beat Colorado. That is my first upset here. I think Florida State will beat UNC Greensboro, BYU to beat Michigan State or UCL. Well, I think they'll beat Michigan State. And then Texas will beat Abilene Christian. That'll be a good game to watch, though. And then this is where I'm also going to disagree with you, too. I'm taking Maryland over UConn simply because, I mean, obviously I think Maryland's a better team, right? And they're on fire, right? And I took Georgetown because they're on fire, right? So I'm going to take Maryland because they're on fire. And then, obviously, Alabama over Iona. We all agree there. I'm going to take Baylor over Hartford. And then Wisconsin over North Carolina. Now, both of these teams, there's a hard out, but I got to take Wisconsin. They look good. I've watched them about 3 times this year and looked over some stats, and I think Wisconsin is a better team. And then I'm taking Villanova over Winthrop, Purdue over North Texas, Texas Tech over Utah State, Arkansas over Colgate, Florida over Virginia Tech, Ohio State over Oral Roberts. I'm taking Illinois over Drexel, Loyola Chicago over Georgia Tech, Tennessee over Oregon State, Oklahoma State over Liberty, San Diego State over Syracuse, West Virginia over Morehead State. I do think that will be a good game, though. Morehead State has the OVC Player of the Year. He's a freshman center, I believe, and he's just amazing. Clemson to beat Rutgers. I don't think either of you guys agree with me there. Yeah, Clemson to beat Rutgers. Houston.
I think you can start.
State.
I think you can start packing your outrageous outfit. Later.
Yeah, I
That's
think
all right.
so.
Hey, all right. Gonzaga to beat Missouri. I think that will be one to watch as well. Virginia to beat Creighton. I'm taking Kansas over USC, and I'm taking Iowa over Oregon. I'm taking Michigan over LSU in what will be a close game. LSU will put up a fight, but Michigan will win. And listen, Georgetown, hottest team coming in. They will beat Florida State and move on to play Michigan in the Sweet 16.
Nope.
Then
Nope.
I'm taking BYU to beat Texas. That's another upset. Give me
I
BYU
go
over
with that.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then give me Alabama over Maryland. I think Alabama is also one of the hottest teams coming in. They won a lot. They won a lot coming into this. I think it was 4 straight plus the SEC championship coming into this game. Or coming into the tournament. So give me Alabama. Give me Baylor over Wisconsin. And then give me Villanova over Purdue. Give me Arkansas over Texas Tech. And then Ohio State over Florida. I want Illinois over Loyola Chicago. I think Loyola Chicago will put up a fight. They're super well-rounded. I watched their championship game, their conference championship game, and they've got a big who he's just unstoppable. I honestly couldn't tell you his name, but he's so cool. He's got this big old mustache, and he's just a baller. He's awesome. He looked unstoppable in that championship game. I'm taking Tennessee over Oklahoma State. Because this team is amazing. Tennessee is so
Landon.
Oh,
No, dude.
Okay. All right. You know what? It's fine. West
Where's
Virginia
your,
will
I
beat
want to
San
know
Diego
what I want to
State.
know what you're wearing for your punishment, dude. You talk about you and Michael being 1 and 2, Landon. I think you're competing for the number 3 spot right now.
I mean, we'll see. Hey, we'll see. Y'all are talking a lot, but we'll see. Give me Houston over Clemson. I'm in the Sweet 16 now. I'm going to take Gonzaga over Virginia. Now, this was a really hard one for me to pick Gonzaga because, and I've told you guys, you know what? I'm going to save it for when they get beat. That's what I'm going to save it for when they get beat. Give me Iowa over Kansas. And this is one where I went back and forth, but I think ultimately Kansas chokes a lot in March Madness. I mean, the last time they were in the championship, I believe, was 2012 when they got beat by Kentucky. And they've had better teams since. You know what I mean? So, and they just can't seem to do it. And then give me Michigan over Georgetown. Their Cinderella run will be ended in the Sweet 16. And then give me Alabama over BYU to move on to the Elite Eight. And then Baylor over Villanova. And then Arkansas over Ohio State. I'm going to take Arkansas over Ohio State. I'm gonna pick
Oh,
Illinois
my goodness.
over Tennessee, and then finally Houston over West Virginia. We now into the Elite Eight, where I'm going to take Iowa over Gonzaga, and let me tell you why. Okay, let me tell you why. Because, and I told you guys before we went live, when we were like in the pre-thing lobby, that Gonzaga every single year comes into the tournament as this big dog. You know, this is a team to watch, team to beat, and every single year they lose. Right?
Brandon, can I say
National
something?
Hold on.
Can I respond to that?
Hold on. Rather it's the national championship or rather it's the round of 32. They get beat, okay? And this is why. They play high schools, okay? Now, granted, they have the All-Americans, but they don't play anybody. And like I said, I don't know the exact numbers, but I guarantee you that maybe one team in their conference is ranked. One. And their ranking's probably gone by now. Right? So that's why I don't think Gonzaga is all people are saying. Every year I have Gonzaga going out in my Sweet 16 or Elite 8. I have never once had them going to the national championship because they are so overrated. They're the most overrated team in college basketball. Granted, they're undefeated. You can say that all day long. But who do they play? If you can give me, and I bet in the regular season, if you put them up against a team like Wisconsin could beat them in the regular season. Ryan, what did you have to say? You said you wanted to say something to that.
All right, so you're talking about how they're always overrated. They always choke in the NCAA tournament. You know what that means?
What does it mean?
You know what I used to say to my dad all the time because we're both Vikings fans, and I used to tell him that Kirk Cousins will never win a Monday night game when he lost like 13 Monday night games in a row, and this holds true. They're due. They're due. They are due to win one.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
We'll see.
You cannot. And I know I compared the Bills to Georgetown. You cannot compare Gonzaga to a team in the NFL because in the NFL, there's not enough teams.
And I'm saying it's a similar situation. Look, Kirk Cousins could have won in Monday Night Football.
It's not a similar situation because the Vikings in Monday Night Football have to play teams like the Chicago Bears who were on fire this year. Have to play teams like the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I mean? They have to play these good teams. When Gonzaga goes and they play something high school. And
Good point.
They play all these teams we never hear of. It doesn't matter if they're due. You know what I mean?
Now here's my take, guys.
You can't just say they're due, so they're going to win it all.
They are going for something very special.
Yes.
Every single year, people say that. Every single
nobody's
year,
done it since the 1970s, though. We haven't even seen anybody come close, except for maybe Kentucky that one year.
What do you mean? They went 30. Kentucky went 32-0. They went undefeated.
Okay, well, a bunch of people are talking about the last time that Gonzaga, the last undefeated team we saw. I saw it somewhere. They said was the 1970s, and Indiana did it.
Yeah, when you have Scott May, Quinn Buckner, you guys.
Oh yeah, to win the national championship. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
But Oh, that's my bad. I misunderstood. But yeah, Kentucky went 32-0 regular season. But Kentucky also had teams like they played LSU, and I'm pretty sure LSU had Ben Simmons then. Okay, teams that are good. Kentucky played and went undefeated. Who does Gonzaga play, Ryan? You literally, I cannot list.
And then you know what? And you know what? That's a great point. But they're hungry this year. They've got something to prove. They're going for wait.
Year.
Hold on. Okay. They're going for something that they have never gone for before. We haven't even seen a team come close since that 1970s Indiana team. I don't know about you, but if I'm on a team that has If I am Gonzaga, a player for Gonzaga, I am hyped up to go to that national championship because I want to prove everybody wrong and make some history. Do you know?
That's every single year, Ryan. That's the thing.
Have they ever been undefeated? Every single year they've been undefeated in the NCAA tournament.
Listen, I guarantee you, 5 out of the last 6 years, so let's just say that Gonzaga's been a 1 seed. Okay, let's just say this. Okay. Every single year. They've made it to the national championship 1 year since I've been paying a little bit of attention to basketball.
And how many years have they've been undefeated for that?
0. But that literally defeats the part. My point is, I don't care if they don't play anybody, okay? They do not play anybody. I don't know. We're going to disagree. But whenever they get beat in the Elite Eight by Iowa, you better not say anything.
Start getting that outfit ready, Landon.
All right. To Michigan and Alabama, and their best players out. their best players out. I want Alabama. They're healthy. They're a good team. They're experienced. And then I'm going to go with Baylor over Arkansas. I had Arkansas, going a little Cinderella run there. But then I'm going to take Illinois over Houston, which sets our Final Four: Iowa and Alabama, Baylor and Illinois. Iowa and Alabama. This is going to be a great game. But I've been talking about experience this whole bracket. Okay. I want Alabama in this Final Four game. In this Final Four matchup against Iowa. Okay. Because
Landon, can I ask you, who's your favorite college team?
Moving on, Baylor playing Illinois in the South versus Midwest.
I don't know. I think I hear some bias.
I am taking Baylor over Illinois in this game. Our championship is Alabama versus Baylor, and I am taking No, I'm just kidding. Baylor's going to win the national championship game. Score 78-73. It's going to be a fantastic game to watch. And Baylor's lost 2 games, right? They actually play opponents. They actually play teams who had to work for something. And they're a team who had, had to somewhat compete whenever Gonzaga is playing nobody. Like,
I think I smell some bias coming from the top left corner of your screen, everybody.
I took Baylor. If I was biased, I would take Alabama and win by 30.
Landon, your bracket is a little bit crazy, my friend. But
so.
That might be okay though. That might be an advantage on your part because your bracket is so different from ours that if Michael and I, if Gonzaga loses, you know that Michael and I are completely done, and we can just start packing our outrageous.
I'm going to say this: even if I'm wrong on the Alabama-Michigan game, which is the only game that I see is a little bit of a stretch, but let's just.
I don't think that's a stretch.
Well, I don't think it is either. But you guys acted like it was. And then let's act like Gonzaga gets beat by Iowa. Then your guys' bracket is shot.
Right. That's what I mean. Because your bracket is so different from ours that's actually a very good strategy. Like picking a different bracket from us is because if our bracket gets busted, you have a way better shot at winning.
Well, it's gonna get busted. I'm literally explaining that. And
no.
I don't know if you guys know this, but as it moves on, I'm pretty sure because I've been doing this for years, this bracket challenge thing, is like, so I don't know exactly the number of points, but obviously round of 64 is the least amount of points because they're obvious, obvious wins.
Right.
While Sweet 16 is more points, Elite 8's more points, you know what I mean?
Right.
It grows. So if Gonzaga does end up losing in the Elite 8, then I'm going to jump over you guys, and I don't know John Mark's bracket. But
can you imagine if John Mark has Gonzaga winning? Landon, all you need to do is have Gonzaga lose 1 game, and you win the entire thing.
Which is what's going to happen. I mean,
no
way.
And I believe.
You know what I would like to see, though? You know what I would like to see? If John Mark has Gonzaga, and Gonzaga wins the whole thing, that's a tie between me, Michael, and John Mark. So then
it's not going to be a tie at all.
Well, no, because then it becomes who had the most right in other rounds.
You know what? Even if and
Michael and I only have 2 or 3 different picks.
To be honest, I believe that Alabama has a better chance to beat Gonzaga than they do Iowa.
You're crazy. You are crazy.
Okay.
Landon, what color is the sky in your world?
Listen, Ryan, Big Ten. Okay, Big Ten is the best conference in college basketball. We can agree, right?
Yes.
Okay. Iowa
100%.
is a number 2 in this tournament. Okay.
Okay.
Gonzaga is a number 1. Please name 3 teams in that conference without looking it up.
The Big Ten?
No. Gonzaga's conference. What is it? Something you like?
Well, that's it, and that's a good point. You said they don't play any schools, but right now they're undefeated. They got a chip on their shoulder.
They're
going to
undefeated because they don't play any schools. Dude,
All
they
right.
can. I'm telling you, Gonzaga could put up 70 points a game.
Look at all these comments. I'm liking these comments in here. Go
fine.
Zag, Gonzaga all the way.
It's because they're uninformed. It's because they're uninformed. And listen, I'm gonna say this, okay? You can, like I said, Gonzaga can score 60 points a game. I would say 60 points a game, okay? And they would still beat probably 9 out of 10 teams in their conference.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm gonna say one word that will knock it out the box. One word.
Zag by 40. Go Zag. Yeah.
All the teams you mentioned, everything you said, Landon, all great points. There's one thing that you did not mention, and that Gonzaga has. Experience.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Michael.
Experience.
Thank you.
That's a fantastic point. But you know what I can also say? They're good at losing. And I love to use that. I love to use that in the NFL because I say teams that choke. For example, the New Orleans Saints. Okay, they choked for years. For the past probably 4 years, they've been teams who could, what I mean, who are in reaching distance, and they choke. So that's why I think the Saints. And whenever I do like an NFL bracket, I always have the Saints getting beat because they're good at losing. Gonzaga is good at losing. So I think we need to move on because we've already hit an hour. So we should probably speed run these NFL topics because we have a lot. It is free agency. It's the second day today. Things have sort of calmed down, but today was wild. I mean, my phone was going off. My phone was going off like every 2 minutes with somebody expecting to sign somebody.
I'm sitting there in class, ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. I'm like, it's crazy.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Zag about to take
This is the same guy that took the Gonzaga earlier. Make up your mind, dude. You got about 24 hours to make up your mind, Kenyatta. Yeah, you got about 24 hours to make up your mind, dude.
Oh, yeah. That's my boy Cole. He says he's not with Zag. All right, you know what? We need to move on. So we're going to start off how we would normally start off the show, but today we did the March Madness special, which this will be the first in the show until April 5th. So we're going to start off with the NFL hot take. I'm going to start with Michael because Ryan went first on his bracket, and if the hot take's anything like his bracket, we will be sitting here for 30 minutes. So, Michael, please give me an NFL hot take.
Hey, mine's just real quick, and you guys may mute me on this one. The Patriots will be in the Super Bowl next year.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Ryan? My hot take also deals with the Super Bowl. Get ready for this one. Arizona is going to be in the Super Bowl next year, and they're going to win the NFC West.
Oh my God!
You can talk about the Rams.
Super Bowl anyway, right?
You can talk about Matt Stafford and the Rams. I know Landon loves buttering up Matt Stafford and the Rams. Matt Stafford isn't as good as everybody thinks he is.
He's better than Kyler Murray. So
we see trouble in Seattle. We see the Rams, who I don't think are going to be anything. San Francisco is probably not going to be anything. Arizona's going to own that division. They're going to win the NFC West. They're going to roll all the way to the Super Bowl.
I'm a diehard Seahawks fan, but Seattle will definitely be last place in that division because that division.
Arizona's going to own that division.
No, Los Angeles Rams are going to own that division.
We'll see.
The Cardinals will be literally third place. It'll be LA Rams. Second will be San Francisco 49ers. And third will be the Rams, fourth Seahawks, and I think fourth will be the Cardinals and Seahawks, and that could honestly be interchangeable. My NFL hot take is this, okay? Deshaun Watson will be dropped. He will not be traded, he will be released before the NFL season starts. And because
they just picked up Tyrod Taylor too. I don't know if you saw that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They picked up Tyrod Taylor. Now we know teams want Deshaun Watson, but they want too much for Deshaun Watson, right? So, that's why I think he will not get traded because the Texans want a lot, and teams aren't willing to give that much up. You know what I mean? So that's why I think he will just eventually be dropped because of his bad attitude. He's going to be taking the whole locker room down, including Tyrod Taylor. When they want like a new beginning, right? New coach, new quarterback. Will Fuller's probably going to be gone, so taking a new beginning. So that's my NFL hot take. Moving. Do you guys have anything else on that, or can we move on?
We can move on.
I think we know Michael's answer for this topic. I need to change the banner. What team will have the biggest comeback this year?
Well,
go ahead, Michael.
You guys, I am not a Patriots fan whatsoever, but I am impressed. I told you guys, I think it was last week or the week before, Bill Belichick does not play. And he's coming out. If you guys remember, maybe about 7-8 years ago, they had two of the best tight ends in football. They are doing the same thing that they used to do back in the day. And the people they picked up two great tight ends. They're fulfilling all their needs. They got some wide receivers. They got some they backed up their defensive problems. If Gilmore comes back, I think they're gonna do well. I mean, the people they picked up, Hunter Henry, Matthew Judon, Nelson Aguilar, whatever his name is, Janu Smith. They picked up Dietrich Wise. They picked up Henry Anderson. They picked up a lot of good players that I think that's going to make them even more effective this year. I think Belichick's on a roll. I think they shored up their defense. They're going to give the quarterback some weapons around him. I'm sorry right now. I think he's going to come back healthy. You guys got to remember, they had a shortened year. He had COVID. I think he's got something to prove. And I think that the Patriots will definitely be the most improved team by far.
All right, Ryan.
Landon, are you ready for this one?
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's just me up here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing this. I think this looks cool. Go ahead.
All right, Landon, are you ready for this one now?
Mm-hmm.
The Dallas Cowboys were 6-10 this year.
Yes.
They're going to improve to 12-4. And since they have Dak back, that's going to be a big factor. 6-10 to 12-4. They're going to flip their record and win 2 more games. They're going to be the most improved team.
I got my paperwork.
My most improved team for this year is, I'm going to eat my words because I said the Jags will not be good. But that was before free agency. Before free agency. Now we're in free agency. And I would say the Patriots, but Michael took the Patriots from me. And,
Good.
If they can run that 2 tight end with a running back set. Hold on. And they're looking to sign Chris Carson.
Who told you that the Jags were going to be good, by the way? Who said that?
Ryan, that was a shot in the dark because it was pre-free.
That was definitely not a shot. I said Urban Meyer was going to be a good coach. I said that the Jaguars were going to improve.
I still don't think Urban Meyer's going to be a good coach. But I do see the Jags. Honestly, they could have a 500+ season. They're adding a lot of keys in free agency. Plus, they're going to go out and probably get Trevor Lawrence. But I like what Michael said about the Patriots. I mean, we could see them run a 2 tight end with two tight end set, which would probably lead to a run play, right? And they got a guy like Damian Harris who is from the come up. He's from my hometown, which is pretty cool. But he's on the come up, and but they're looking to sign Chris Carson too. And if they can get Chris Carson and run out of that 2 tight end set, just power runs, just shove the ball at the middle, then it will be fantastic for the Patriots. They'll go far. But the Jags, they've signed a lot of receivers in free agency. They signed Marvin Jones a couple hours ago. They're looking really good, and they got James Robinson, a fantastic young running back, excuse me. So he's definitely gonna have a good year next year, a good sophomore year. He had a fantastic rookie year. But I gotta go with the Jags.
First Blake Griffin, and now this. I proved you wrong twice, Landon. It hasn't been a good couple weeks for you.
Listen,
here we go.
No. I'm not going to let you sit here and say that. You did not – listen, I did not disagree with Blake Griffin going to the Nets. I just didn't call it. That was your NBA hot take, and I will go back on that video and find it because that was your hot take.
Hey, it was a pretty good hot take then.
It wasn't where will Blake Griffin go, and I didn't say somewhere else other than the Nets. That's
fine.
You cannot use that against me.
All right, that's fine. But I also told you that the Jaguars were going to be a good team, and you are eating your words again. So you got to trust me more. You got to trust me a little bit more.
I'm not going to trust you at all because Gonzaga will lose. Okay, listen. If Gonzaga even makes it to the championship, I will listen to you.
That's right, Michael. You tell him, Michael.
I will listen to you. Okay, so like we said, it's free agency time. It's the second day. And there's been a lot of shocks. A lot of guys go to teams we didn't really expect. So, let's see I don't even know the exact wording. Biggest free agency shock thus far, because we're still early into free agency. The top running back hasn't been selected. I don't even believe the top receiver has been signed. There's still quarterbacks on the board. A lot of rushers. Not many rushers, actually. Rushers have been kind of going quick. A star corner still on the board, and Richard Sherman. I'm going to start with Ryan here. Give me your biggest free agency shock.
My biggest free agency shock? The New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. In the past 2 days, we've seen them take, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've taken 7 players in the past 2 days. Let's take a look at this. Tight end, Jonnu Smith. 4 years, $50 million. Linebacker, Matthew Judon, 4 years, $56 million. Jalen Mills, 4 years, $24 million. Nelson Aguilar, 2 years, $26 million. Kendrick Bourne, I think his name is.
Bourne.
Yeah, something.
Bourne, 3 years, $22.5 million. Davon Gaucho.
I know all these names be killing me.
2 years, $16 million. And breaking news from today. Hunter Henry, 3 years, $37.5 million. They got a great tight end core now. And like Michael
Yes.
said, Bill Belichick is trying to stick it to that number 12 in Tampa
Yep.
Bay. And
I
he could
agree.
very well stick it to him in the AFC. Now, just to respond to your hot take earlier, Michael, you said that the Patriots were going to the Super Bowl. There's two teams in the AFC by the names of the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs who have something to say about that. So I don't think
I like
I think
that.
it's going to be a long shot that the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. I think that whole conference is owned by Buffalo and Kansas City.
You got a point there. Kansas City picked up Patriots center. That's going to help them out too on the
Hold
offensive
on.
line. So that
Real
will help.
quick, look at this comment, okay? Did Stout know who's in the ZAG conference? And the answer to your question is no. He couldn't name them, but I want to get away from this argument because I know.
Can you name them, Landon?
No, and that's literally my point. You can't name people in their conference,
All right.
so you can't.
And I said that was a good point. They don't play a lot of. They have an easy conference. You're right, but the NCAA tournament is something completely different.
That's a good point. That's a very good point too. Michael, do you want to give us your biggest free agency shock? Michael,
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Yep,
Can you hear me?
he's here.
Can you hear either of us?
What happened to him? I don't know.
He left. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I just couldn't hear you.
All right. He wanted your biggest free agency shock.
All right. You know,
can y'all hear me now?
it's a shock to me, but you know
Yes.
something? Ryan Fitzpatrick going to Washington.
Yes.
That's a big one.
I found that. I mean, obviously he's a good backup quarterback, but I was very surprised that they went and got him. That to me, that shocked me. I mean, and then what was funny is that they got him for only $10 million a year, you know, and then that's everything. The other quarterbacks are now going to from the bench are going to be getting $10 million a year. I'm talking about the backups, not the big side. Dalton got signed for $10 million a year. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Guys like that. But Fitzpatrick is the one that shocked me.
All right, my biggest shock so far is that, and it's somebody who hasn't been signed yet. Can y'all hear me okay? Is it loud, quiet? Are you good?
No, you're good.
Okay. Is that Juju Smith-Schuster is still on the board.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's true.
The reason I think this is it's so shocking, I thought he was going to be on first day. And I think it's crazy. I mean, dude has amazing big play ability. We saw what he did the season 2018. Just fantastic. Probably a top 3 receiver that year. And still, he's probably a top 15 receiver in the NFL. He's always reliable on the deep routes. He's reliable short. He's super fast. He's got the build. He's amazing. And that's my biggest shock. And I want to go back to Ryan, where you said, today I was watching Good Morning Football, and they said, who do you compare Jonnu Smith to? And they were like, there's really nobody. He's so unique.
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
I actually have it on a paper. Calvin Johnson. Okay, and hear me out. Dude is huge. He's a big body. He's not as tall, obviously. And he might be quicker than Calvin Johnson. Jonnu Smith is a tight end. Jonnu Smith's a tight end. Calvin Johnson is amazing. So I just wanted to go to that and say that that's my comparison to him. And obviously he's not as good as Calvin Johnson. I'm not saying that, but he plays like Calvin Johnson. And he also has Ryan Tannehill's a good quarterback, but the Titans system isn't made for tight ends. They want blocking tight ends for Derrick Henry to just run. You know what I mean? So as he didn't catch many touchdowns last year, but he's a great tight end and he deserved the money he got. To move on here, we've got the Buccaneers. They've signed a lot of people, and they're going broke. That's for sure. They've signed Tom Brady to an extension. Shaq Barrett, I believe, got an extension. Let's see. They're trying to sign back Vita Vea. So a lot of people have signed back, and now Leonard Fournette has not signed back. They've tagged Chris Godwin.
Not yet.
Not yet. So my question is, can the Bucs repeat? I'm going to start this one off, okay? And I'm going to go, Michael said it a lot, okay? This year, he said, I would pick the Chiefs, but it's so hard to repeat. And correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but you took the Browns to beat the Chiefs. You took the Bills to beat the Chiefs. And didn't you take the Buccaneers to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yes. And every time I would ask, why do you think the Browns can beat the Chiefs? Why? He said, Landon, because it's so hard to repeat.
Yes.
And they didn't repeat. Okay, so I'm going to take Michael's word. It's too hard to repeat. And another thing, Tom Brady is going on 44 years old. We've got, right, 44? He's 43 right now, going on 44.
Yeah.
We've got to think about that. It's almost time for a downfall. And I hate to say it because he's been like the face of the NFL my whole life. But it's time for a downfall. Any time now. You know what I mean? It's going to be a downfall. And I think his last year with the Patriots, I was like, this is it. We're no more Tom Brady. And last year he really didn't have a Tom Brady year either. But they have one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the best probably the best receiving core in the NFL. They carried Tom Brady. Now he had a fantastic game in the Super Bowl, but he threw 3 interceptions in every single playoff game.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's why I don't think they're going to repeat. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get out of the wild card round. But they are also in an easy division right now because Drew Brees just retired. But we're going to talk about the NFC South in a little bit. But I'm going to go to Ryan first. Do you think the Buccaneers can repeat?
They can, but they won't. I think Arizona is going to go to the Super Bowl, like I said earlier. Mm-hmm. And Landon, you put it perfectly. Father Time catches up to every player. I hate saying this about Tom Brady because, I consistently pick against Tom Brady. I did it last year because he didn't have a Tom Brady year, like you said. And again, this year, he's 44 years old. He's not as accurate as he used to be. He's not as mobile as he used to be. He's not as strong as he used to be. You got guys like Patrick Mahomes. You got guys like Josh Allen. You got guys like Kyler Murray. You got guys like Deshaun Watson, who are the future in the NFL. And Tom Brady's time is up, in my opinion, because you can't afford to lose a guy like a Vita Vea, a Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown. These are crucial keys to the system in Tampa Bay. And like Michael said as well, it's so hard to repeat. And with all those factors, I don't think the Buccaneers are going to repeat. Now they can, because you never want to count out Tom Brady, but I don't think they will.
Michael?
I agree with Ryan. What's good about Tampa Bay is that they were able to keep their solid team together for the most part. And it's hard to do because when you win a Super Bowl, everybody wants their money. You get the ring, now you want your money. You want to get paid. You want to get paid at a higher rate, and they can't afford you, so you're gone. So I give them a little bit of credit for keeping everybody together. But can they? Yes. Will they? No. And for the simple reason, again, Brady, I think, I hate to say this, guys, I think, with the fact about the age factor, I think he's going to get hurt. I hope not. I pray not, but I think he's going to get hurt.
We've never seen Brady have a big injury in his entire career, and it would be terrible.
At the beginning, he did. At the beginning.
But
Real
even
bad.
So, you hate to see an injury, no matter who it is.
I pray not, but
yeah, that.
Like a lot of people don't like Tom Brady, but even so, and when you're talking about an injury, you don't want anyone to get injured.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. But I just feel that his age, he's in great physical condition, but I don't know. I have a gut feeling that he's gonna get hurt, but I don't think they're gonna come back.
I'm gonna say this though: if I was 44 years old, having to go stand under center with 300-pound men running at me, I would want the Buccaneers O-line to protect me.
I hope they do.
Fantastic O-line. They've got a great O-line, and they have a really good rookie left tackle with Alabama. So he's gonna be good, and he played fantastic. So moving on, dealt or not dealt, it's kind of a new segment we brought. And last year we talked about Russell Wilson, or not last year. Wow, last week we talked about Russell Wilson. Week before that we talked about Deshaun Watson. This week, probably one of the best corners in the game, top 3 for sure. Coming off an injury, right? He got injured last year, correct?
Yes.
Coming off a season-ending injury. Will Stephon Gilmore be traded, Michael?
He wants double what they're willing to pay him. Right now, they're paying him $7 million a year. He wants that 15, 16 million a year, which most cornerbacks average.
Mhm.
So they don't want to give it to him. That's what he wants. That's going to be a problem right there. Um, he's returning from a partially torn quad. But they say he's getting better. He's working on Miami. My guess is they're gonna confront him. Look, we can't pay you what you want. Now it's up to you. So I think he's going to end up leaving New England, although I don't want him to. But if players at your caliber making 16 million and you're making 7, what are you going to do?
Right. Ryan?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It's not dealt. Because Bill Belichick just signed those 7 players to help the Patriots out. Now, if Stephon Gilmore's smart, he'll want to stay because the Patriots are going to improve. And if Stephon Gilmore's smart, he'll take a pay cut in order to be on that improved Patriots squad for at least another year.
For me, I'm gonna say dealt, and it's because he's coming off the injury. Michael said he's not 100% yet. The Patriots, and they need money. Okay, we saw and they were like number 2, I think, in cap space in the NFL. But they signed a mediocre tight end to a $50 million deal, another mediocre tight end to a $30 million deal. Signed Cam Newton back for another year. He's gonna want if he plays good this year, he's gonna want a lot of money. We know how Cam Newton is. So he's gonna get traded because they need money. He's either gonna get traded or dropped or just not. They're not gonna. You know what I mean? Extend him.
And
Go
don't
ahead.
me to interrupt you, but Ryan, do you think after all these moves being made that you want him to sit back and take a pay cut?
Exactly.
I think he'd be willing to take a. I didn't say I want him to. I said I think he'd be willing.
I don't think he'll be
I
willing
don't
to take a
think
pay
so.
cut because I
Really?
said, he's a defensive player of the year, man. Why would you take a pay cut? You literally deserve so much money.
Because you want to be on that improved team. If Michael's right and they have a shot to go to the Super Bowl this year,
Not
I would
everybody's
definitely
like
take
that,
a pay cut with a shot at the Super Bowl.
Not everybody's like that. And Stephon Gilmore,
That's fine.
who has had shots
I'm
at
just
Super
telling you,
Bowls
if I was
for a
Stephon
while.
Gilmore, that's what I would do. That's probably that may not be what he wants, but if I'm Stephon Gilmore, I'd be willing to take a pay cut if I got a good shot at a Super Bowl run.
I don't think he will, and that's why I think he'll either get dropped, traded, or
Look at Ben. It's a different
Ben
situation.
Roethlisberger.
But Ben took a pay cut because he wants to come back and try to win a Super Bowl with
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
see, you just compared.
No, he took a
Ben
pay cut because they
Roethlis-
wanted to send him out.
You just compared Ben Roethlisberger, who is a mediocre.
No, I'm saying
lower
it's
average
I'm
quarterback.
saying it's a different situation. I did say that, but I'm
Okay,
saying he also took a pay cut.
But Stephon Gilmore, Big Ben isn't half the player in his position that Stephon.
That's
Gilmore
true.
is.
I agree. That's why I said
So,
it's a different situation, and it's not good to compare that. But I'm saying he's another player that
deserves
took a pay
15
cut, and it seems like he wants to come back and try to win one more in Pittsburgh. Can he do it? I don't know.
He deserves $15 million a year, Stephon Gilmore.
I agree.
So he
I
will
agree.
go somewhere else. It's dealt for me. To move on, this is our last topic. It's another new segment. We're predicting. Free agency's almost over, so we will obviously do a part 2 after our part 2 mock draft. Surprise, we're doing a mock draft next, guys. Our NFC South predictions. So the NFC South consists of the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Saints, and the
Falcons.
Falcons. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start with Michael here. Give me your South predictions.
NFC South. I'm going Falcons, number 4. I'm figuring they're going to go 7-9. I got Carolina, number 3, going 9-7. I got New Orleans, number 2, going 10-6. And I got Tampa Bay going 13-3.
Ryan?
Michael and I have the same number 1, Tampa Bay.
Ryan, you get
13. No, wait.
He's taking
that's
all
the
your
only
answers,
one.
Michael.
That's the only one. That's the
All
only
right,
one.
okay.
So the Buccaneers are going to go 13-3. Carolina's going to finish second at 8-8. New Orleans is going to finish third at 4-12 because
Oh!
here's why. Taysom Hill isn't going to be able to carry that team, and if they start that joke of a quarterback, Jameis Winston, they're not going to win any games.
Oh,
So they're going to be
Ryan,
4-12, and
Oh.
Atlanta's going to be last place at 2-14. There you go.
Wow.
And Michael,
2-14?
I think
What?
so. I think so.
Listen to
Atlanta.
this guy.
Oh!
I'm surprised that you guys don't agree with me that Jameis Winston is a joke, because Jameis Winston is a joke.
No,
Believe
but
me.
I don't think I think he's a decent quarterback. But listen,
Jameis Winston?
he is in a good situation with good receivers, a good coach, a good running back, a good defense. He's in a good situation. Now,
You know what, Landon?
Listen,
When he
Ryan,
signed with
before
the
you
Saints,
dog
they
me,
tried to throw him the pen, and he got picked off. Yeah.
Listen, no. Before you dog me, let me say my predictions. Number 1, the Buccaneers going 12-4. Okay. Number 2, the Panthers going 7-9. The Falcons going 8-8. Okay. And then the Saints in last place with a 6-10 record. Now, 6-10 record is not terrible for a last place team, because I think Jameis Winston can give this team 6 wins, because he also has Alvin Kamara, he's got Michael Thomas, and they have a draft pick, and he's got a good O-line, he's got a fantastic defense, he's got Sean Payton. So they're in a good position.
Landon,
Go for it.
you talk about Jameis Winston being a decent quarterback. You know, when he signed the contract, he tried to throw the pen back to the GM, but it got picked off. So you can talk about him being a decent quarterback, but everything he throws gets picked off.
Hey,
so.
guys, you know something? You gotta give him a chance. He only played a few.
How many
games.
chances does he need?
He literally played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a dumpster fire organization.
He still threw 30
he played
interceptions
4 games
in a
and threw
season.
11 passes. He played 4 games, 7 for 11 passes.
He had Mike Evans too in Tampa Bay, Landon. Don't act like he didn't have a receiver.
He did have Mike Evans, and you were right. He also had Chris Godwin, Ryan,
Yeah.
but he didn't have an offensive line. He
interceptions.
didn't have a coach. He didn't have a running back. He didn't have a defense. Okay? So, Jameis, you cannot take a quarterback. You cannot put Russell Wilson on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Patrick Mahomes. Actually, Patrick Mahomes probably could. You cannot take Russell Wilson, put him on the Jaguars, and say, go make the playoffs. It doesn't work like that.
They don't have a good receiving core.
But you know what? I'll give you receiving core with the Buccaneers, okay? But
yeah, if you have a good receiving
OJ
core,
Howard is not OJ Howard. As much as I love him because he went to Alabama, he is not a good tight end. Okay, you can go to their offensive line. Their offensive line was not good until they got Tom Brady, because they had to prioritize it. They didn't have a good running back. They had who do they even have at running back? I don't even know. Okay, their defense was bummy. They didn't have anybody. Okay, so that's exactly why.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at his stats right now. Pretty good to me. He threw for 4,000 yards his first year, 4,000 second year, 3,500 his third year. He only played 11 games the following year. Then he threw for 5,100 yards, and he threw for 30 interceptions.
If he's so good and if he's so decent, why did he become a backup quarterback after his first
because
3 or 4 years?
he was behind Drew Brees.
Sure. Why did nobody else want to sign him? There we go.
Okay, listen. Okay, that's a fantastic point. Because he come off a season with 30 interceptions.
That's
why.
correct.
Yeah, that didn't help.
That's correct.
For 5,000 yards.
I rest my case.
A bad year. Everybody has bad years. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a joke.
I don't think so, Ryan.
I disagree.
I give him a chance.
I give him a chance too.
You know what? I take Jameis Winston in Minnesota just because I want my Vikings to go 0-16 for the next 3 years so that we can rebuild.
Oh my gosh. In that case, you might as well sit where you are right now, Ryan. All right. So that's all we got today. Ryan, you want to go ahead and close out with running your show, and then Michael, you can go next.
Yeah, I'm doing my show tomorrow afternoon. You guys want to tune in on YouTube Live, Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt. I'll be going over my NCAA tournament bracket again. I'm going to do something very fun. I'll advertise it now. I'm going to do something with my social medias where if you follow me on social media, I'll put something out on my story. You can direct message me, and you can play against my bracket this March Madness. You have to message me by tomorrow night, and I will be doing that with Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt. You can find that. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on my TikTok at Sports Talk with Ryan Stoudt, Instagram, all that good stuff. And if you direct message me on one of those platforms, you will be able to play me in my March Madness bracket this year, and I'm offering that up. But I will be talking about my March Madness bracket tomorrow on my show, and I will also be going over some NFL free agency.
Whew.
Michael?
Wow. Yeah, I just got. I'm not like Ryan. I just got my sports corner with the Con Man, which I'll be doing tomorrow night at 6 p.m. You can find it on all the major platforms, Spotify, etc. And look for big things happening on my show.
You're going to want to watch that guy. He knows everything about basketball.
Yes. All right, from Ryan, Michael, I'm Landon. Thanks for watching.